Oh shit, oh shit. I almost forgot about ToQger. Let's talk about episode 25. Because I haven't seen episode 26. Actually, because I skipped episode 26, like I skipped Kamen Rider Guy episode 24, I'm gonna just talk about episode 25 till I get to see 26, and then I'll come out with a review of 26. Because this isn't that complicated of a story. Yeah. Because it's ToQger. Anywho, this ToQger episode opens up with Wright having a cold. Ooh. He has a cold and is not acting himself and he's acting mean and aggressive because he's just sick and he just wants to go to bed and he wants to get this shit done with. And it's adorable. Honestly. Dude, honestly, because he looks so goddamn finny. Him looking mean looks like a girl who's just pouting. Like, I'm mad. I'm like, dude, you look like a kid. You look too young. He can't, in that look, cannot convey angry. You can't. You really fucking can't. Um, what else was I gonna say about this episode? Okay. Of course, they find a new town taken over by the Shadow Line, and they're gonna go into it. So they go into it. And as they go into it, Zed gets a new general chick who may or may not be kind of a little molesty. She really likes touching Zed. And it's like, sorry, I'm rude. You've always been rude. The hammer is my penis. Like shit like that. Like, you just, what? Oh, okay. Like you both fell over and she lays with you. Just like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, you are sorry, alright. But she is the one who runs all the towns taken over by the Dark Line. And she wants to prove to Zed that he is weak and he has weakness within him. Ooh. Zed, unlike most generals, actually takes her sass, showing that he has a level of respect for her and knows her a lot better than everybody else. So I actually kind of want to, once again, see the relationship between these two characters go a little further. And hopefully not creepier. Um, so, as Lord Zed is going over into the Dark Line city that has been taken over, Wright and the rest of the gang are trying to figure out, of course, which Shadow Line monster. Why do I keep calling it? Yeah, no, Shadow Line and Dark Line. Anyway, Shadow Line monster is actually taking over this town. They find the entire town frozen, of course, like last time. And this time was a bishop monster or rook monster. It's a chess piece who has multiple personality disorder because he'll have a nerdy voice that's like a computer going like, intruders detected, intruders detected, and then have a like not a monster voice, but more of an enforcer voice going, all right, I'll fucking destroy him, shit like that. Um, he's kind of annoying, or that's the funniest thing. It's a character who's one character, but half of him is annoying. Anywho, after they fight him, but they use up their powers, so they can't do it because they're again when a Shadow Line takes over a town, their ToQger powers only work for about 30 seconds, give or take. Um, oh, before all this ever happened, of course they get a new train thing. I don't know what to call them. I call them train toys, but they get a new train toy because that's what they're selling. And it's the Hyper ToQger. I love this. I do love this. That when they introduce it, it's like, is it gonna give us more power? Fuck if I know, dude. But it's called the Hyper ToQger. Hyper. Ooh. Ooh. Like he starts playing with it. It gets weird, but it's kind of funny. Kind of. Not really, but kind of. You know. It's something you would have done if you were a kid, acted out as an adult. So it's kind of creepy, kind of funny at the same time. A little above. Of course, they say you need great imagination to play with this. And, you know, as they go and fight the Rook, and then Zed shows up, and they try to fight him and fail. Of course, Wright figures out that he needs his imagination back because these guys, and they've actually brought up a very good point. These guys have been fighting all these battles without really using anything imaginative. They haven't been using their imagination. They've been so busy trying to get out of a battle or just fighting that they haven't used their imagination as much as they should. And so he takes the idea of a train, of course, but it's a train of two Japanese children who are waiting for their parents to come home on a train that they drew on the wall. It's a fucking train. Anyway, so like he takes that idea and that image and uses the hyper mode to create this train armor, which is just his chest armor. It's literally just chest armor. That's it. And he becomes a train. It's not that imaginative, ironically. However, there was something kind of interesting with the Hyper ToQger powers that I did want to say something about. And that is, Hyper ToQger, apparently, it changes with the user. Meaning, ToQ Red can have a different hyper mode than ToQ Green. So that means, if they are smart, or if they decide to do this, they can have a hyper mode for each and every character be a different hyper mode because it's their own imagination. It's what they create out of it. That'd be kind of cool. Of course, they get this new cannon with it, which is superfluously a waste of time. I know you're supposed to put all the liners in there and then it's like, but when there's nothing in there, you can't just fire it because like he's just so it's like for 30 seconds it's like okay, there you go, you can fire. Like I thought that was just silly. But I do have to admit, as much as the costume didn't impress me, that fight scene did. ToQ Red just straight up kicks ass with that. Chunking the bishop like off, and when him and Zed go at it, it actually is a pretty cool fight. At least the beginning part, because they bust like they both use like light powers and dark powers, and like they're clashing, and then once they break, they come in and then they do this like elbow clash, and then after that they do this like flurry of punches and blocks, and it's actually really well choreographed and well done, and the cinematography is great with it because it just follows and tracks. And my inner film geek gets out and goes, ooh, shit. A bunch of shit to do. Um, but yeah, like it's really cool, and I really actually like that little battle up till the cannon, because the cannon literally is loading up while if Zed did not have his fascination with shining, which I'm pretty sure that's what the chick wanted to point out to him, he would have easily gotten to ToQger Red before he even got that cannon charged, because the thing just okay, now you can fire. Like again, when all the liners are in there, I'm pretty sure it'll be impressive. But for now, just waiting there. And of course, Monster of the Week jumps in the way so that Zed can't get hit. He dies. Zed is like, and the lady's like, all right, we've seen what we got. We've seen what we need to see. Get out and the fuck out. And leave. They bring Light back to this town because who gives a shit about the robot fight? Because we all know what it is. It's like they grow big, they punch out, done. Um, and everybody comes back to normal. However, everybody's got colds now. Uh-oh. And Wright is the one who has to take care of them. Eh, this episode is not bad, but it's not great. It's a very 7.5 out of 10. Here's why. The new power is interesting. Again, imagination-powered armor. Imagination armor, basically. Like, whatever the fuck you imagine, it's your armor now, and it makes you more powerful. That is insane. That's great. That's an increasingly enticing idea and interesting. And you can go so many places with it, literally, because it's based on imagination. However, if they do not fuck it up, it will be a great idea. If they just keep it trains. Woo. Zed and this new character are actually quite interesting to watch. As, again, this is the first character you can see Zed kind of chillax with. Zed actually has a more relaxed demeanor with this character. It shows a little more respect for this character, and actually hears her out a lot more than he does Nero or other chick whose daughter was eaten. Who I think Greta is still being seen inside Zed. He's just not doing anything about it. He doesn't care. He's like, eh. But yeah, like, so their characterization is actually quite interesting, if not a little molesty. But other than that, I actually kind of enjoyed her. She was she's like the brash old woman type who don't take no shits. I kind of like that. I kind of enjoyed that, seeing that on screen. Um, other than that, it's a stock episode. If it weren't for those little bits, wow, I wouldn't have cared. Not saying it's terrible, but it's just like, it's normal. And ToQger being normal is kind of lame. Um, it's more of an epidemic of, ToQger should be this balls out crazy Super Sentai. And it kind of is at points. And it makes it good. But sometimes it just kind of falls into a formula that I've seen before. And then it's like, wow, what? And it's like, honestly, okay, this is what I gotta say about it. It honestly reminds me of somebody who has to hit a quota mark. Alright? Because if you think about it, anytime they need a new robot, quota mark, the episodes are quite average. They're like, oh yeah, we gotta sell the toy. Here's that fucking robot thing. I don't care. Or when, like, especially when I said, like, you know, the whole, they're gonna make the big, super giant, big old fucko mega robot and kick somebody's ass. They got through that like that because they were like, you know what, fuck it, let's get this done with. They did it a little interesting, but you know, they kind of rushed through it because they didn't want to do it. And with this episode, though executed well, it did seem like they were like, oh my god, we gotta premiere the super duper toy. And we can find something interesting to do with it, but how do we get to it? Stock plot of having to learn imagination? Sure. It's like they had interesting ideas for the product, but getting there was like, shit. Where's that script Jenkins wrote? Yeah, the intern. Where do you put it? Fuck. Hold up. There we go. Alright, there we go. Stock imagination shit. He's a terrible writer, but hey, it'll get us to that really cool scene. So, let's use that. So yeah, again, 7.5 out of 10. Not bad. It's just not all that impressive. But I do hope that with this new hyper armor and with Zed being shown the error of his ways with a character who can actually willingly show him the errors of his ways, that things will get a lot more interesting. And I think they will. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But until next time, y'all, peace.